My name is Suzanne Fagenbaum, and I've been an RN in the operating room for the last 28 years at UNC Rex Healthcare in Raleigh, North Carolina. I've recently taken part in a collegiate debate on North Carolina House Bill 879, End of Life Option Act. In my opinion, the best argument for the End of Life Option Act is the patient's right to decide when they've suffered long enough with pain due to their terminal illness and choose death by ingestion of a lethal dose of a prescribed comfort care drug. This option is not taken lightly and should be well thought out and discussed with others involved, including family and loved ones. This is also an option that requires a great deal of forethought, and that the process can take up to 4 weeks from initiation to prescription. In my opinion, the best argument against the End of Life Option Act is that it goes against the medical motto of do no harm. This option is an ethical dilemma for many in the healthcare profession. We are committed to providing compassionate care to our patients, not to help them take their own lives. I have read a couple of articles that suggest that the patient may choose to end their life not because of suffering with irretractable pain due to their illness, but because they no longer have autonomy and do not want to be a burden to their loved ones. This fact has disability rights groups up in arms. The North Carolina House Bill 879 was introduced on April 16, 2019, passed the first reading, and was referred to the Committee on Rules, Calendar, and Operations of the House on April 22nd. No further action on this legislation has occurred to this date. I am conflicted by the idea of death with dignity, but I am more in favor of this legislation than against it, and I believe that it should move forward. I believe a patient should have the right to choose when they are incapable of suffering any longer and are ready to move forward with the End of Life Option Act. They also have the choice to change their mind and not take the lethal dose of medication once they've had it filled. I believe that since there is a lengthy process involved with the End of Life option, it is not taken lightly or without forethought. I also believe that if palliative care and hospice were initiated in a timely manner, this option may not be warranted. Adequate palliative care will not only benefit the patient, but alleviate ethical and moral conflicts felt by medical personnel over the end of life option. I'm of the opinion that this bill should move forward. So the next step in the process is for the bill to be reviewed by committees. This is an opportune time for the public to weigh in on the bill. If allowed by the committee, the public may present testimony, advice, or scientific facts to the legislators on that committee. Then it is to be considered by the House, since that's where it originated, where the bill is explained and arguments for and against are heard. If there is a majority vote for the bill, it is passed at second reading. The bill must pass a third reading to be moved to the Senate. The process of committees, readings, and passing is then repeated in the Senate. The next step is concurrence, where the bill is reconciled by both houses. If both houses agree, the bill is then ready to be signed into law. Enrollment is with the new bill is written with all amendments in place. Ratification is when officers from both houses sign the bill, and then the governor has 10 days to act by approving or vetoing the bill. If no action is taken by the governor, it automatically becomes law. While I think this bill should be passed quickly, I also believe that it may not be used as often as we think it might. With palliative care and hospice in place, it should rarely be considered useful or necessary. This was the case in Oregon once their death with dignity law was passed. It was found that more terminally ill people were satisfied with the respite they received with palliative care and hospice, and were not taking advantage of the death with dignity option available to them.